Hello, everyone, and welcome back to part two of the Road to E3 Sony prediction discussion. Today, we don't have a lot of Sony fans in our little Broke Boi channel, so today it's just me and Jared.
and really only one of us has a PlayStation 4, and that's me. So.
Right, Jared has a PlayStation 4, and I'm always interested to see, what these companies come up with as a whole. I'm just more of a, I'd like to see what Sony's been up to and keeping tabs on them.
The reason I have PS4 is for the exclusives, solely for the exclusives. The majority of my gaming is done on an Xbox One or a PC. That's just simply because it's been proven through statistics. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys are gonna be butthurt, but it's been proven through statistics and through pure manpower and company preference. The Xbox One is more powerful than PS4 as it stands currently.
Right. It's always been a back and forth.
In the future, the next generation of games, they might, it might flip again. PS5 might be stronger than the next Xbox that comes out. Who knows? But as it stands, as confirmed by multiple companies, they prefer to work on Microsoft's hardware because it's simply more powerful. However, Sony does have better exclusive titles. But if the majority of my gaming is done on Xbox One just because it's easier to do. So today we're going to be talking about just basically it's a pre-discussion of what's going to be at Sony's E3 this year, 2018, and what we think is going to be there and what is going to be there.
Yeah, like we'll make our little predictions throughout the video and whatnot. Yeah. So it should be a good time.
These videos are for prediction purposes, but they're also to let you as an audience know what's going to be at E3 this year and what to expect. And what to hope for. So what to expect and what to hope, two different things.
We all know the E3s love to, yank that hope from underneath us.
And hopefully this E3 will finally learn about some shit that's been happening. Primarily.
Jared, language.
What do you mean language?
I'm kidding. Yeah, so start.
And I've been a little sick. That's why I sound like a dead car right now.
It's more like a dead bird, but
yeah, whatever.
It's all right. Yeah, so we've recently learned pretty much throughout these past few weeks that the PlayStation 4 is entering its last phase of the cycle.
Not really, bro. They still got 3 years.
Okay, yeah, 3 years, but still, it doesn't matter. No. It's ending. It's finito.
Yeah, it's like saying, oh yeah, it's ending. We got 3 summers worth of Avengers movies.
The Avengers is never ending. I'm just letting you know that.
Right? I know it's not. I'm just telling you.
I'm just joking.
3 years is a long time.
I mean, it is, but like in retrospect, like it is, but it isn't, because it's like
it's not the end of the. Okay, look. Last generation of cycles, the last generation of consoles, the cycle was, to see 2006, which was the beginning with the Xbox 360, and then PS3 was 2008, and then they renewed themselves in 2013. So that was about a 6-7 year cycle.
That was 10 years, dude.
What? No, they ended the cycle in 2013 because they released the new. But they still kept it going for another 2. So let's just say
that's what I meant.
Let's just say 2014.
Let's say 10 years.
It's not 10 though. That's 8. That's 8 at max. 8 max, because it starts in 2006. And Sony's was shorter. Sony's lifespan was shorter than that because
2006 to 2013.
Yeah, 2006 to 2013.
Okay, yeah, you're right. What? Either way, I'm counting to where they stopped production on the 360s and the PlayStation 3s.
Yeah, which is let's just say the average cycle of a console is 7 years.
Right. Okay.
It hasn't been 7 years yet. In 2021, it will have been 7 years.
It just feels so much faster now because I feel like the PlayStation 4 just came out 2 years ago when it didn't, and since both of these, the PS4 and Xbox One, have been around since like
It was like
2013.
2013, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And they're like, oh, it's entering the last phase. And it's like, well, what does that mean? And people are like, oh, they
no,
probably will end up with a PlayStation 5, but it's like,
no, this is we're at the end of the mid cycle right now. We're about to start. The end
right,
cycle.
right. But like, they said it'll end like 2020 or
Yeah,
2021.
no, they literally, the developers themselves stated specifically 2021 is when the PS5 will be released. So that means we still got 3 more years of PS4.
Yeah. I used to, as you know, all the viewers listening out there, you guys probably don't know. I used to be, I used to love Sony with all my heart when it came, the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, actually, when everybody was going to the Xbox, Christian's idiot's ass bought he bought the PS4 first and then sold it.
Okay, the only reason why I did that is because I saw Kingdom Hearts 3 coming to Sony, and they didn't
Which
confirm.
they have still pushed back even more yet again.
Right.
So
I mean,
the
new gameplay looks great though. It really does. But
yeah, it does. Yeah. They're not at least, like, I just hope they don't push it back to where it comes out and, oh look, it's the previous gen from what it's being released on.
No,
because
no, this isn't the Last Guardian.
The Last Guardian did that for the PlayStation, and it's just, yeah, dude, that is a PS3 title. That was released for PS4.
Oh my god! Every year, people hope for that game to come to E3 every single year, and it just
it
finally did.
When it did, it was too late because now
it was way too late. Like the hype was like for like a few years, and then like it was kind of there, it kind of like plateaued, and then it just went down. And then they're like, "Oh, it's coming out." They're like, "Oh, what game is that again?" They're like, "Oh, that one game."
See, the rule is like, okay, yeah, good art takes time, right? But you have to release it in a reasonable time period, You have to release when people are still thinking about it.
Japanese companies are known for that.
I know, and that's what the problem is, dude. See, the thing is, like, okay, so, we always go back to CD Projekt Red having like a good model for everything. CD Projekt Red, wonderful company. Wonderful company, and they understand that a video game takes time, right?
Right.
But they also understand that there is a demand for it, so they work their asses off to getting it done as quickly as possible and as reasonably as possible. Okay, so do you see the difference there? There's quickly and reasonable, and there's when you both combine them, it's
time
quick and reasonable. Yeah. Well, no, they don't really have a time constraint. They just have a work their fucking asses off is what they have, and then when you have these Japanese companies like, oh, work your ass off, sorta, and then take like 5-month vacations, and then get back to it, and then work on it for a month.
They have lives and families too. Just saying. No, I was kidding. Actually, yeah, they do. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I've been editing a lot of videos.
Yeah, they love his families too, bro. But it's like, yeah, y'all don't like,
make these games.
You don't like. It's like, okay, bro. How many vacations can you afford before you go broke, bro?
Okay, wait. Okay, because back to like the Last Guardian thing, and some of these Japanese companies taking too long. It's like, even with, it's kind of looking this way. It looked this way with Final Fantasy 15 because it was originally supposed to be released on the PlayStation 2, and it was it looked cool, at the time, but it had a different name. It was Final Fantasy Versus 13, I believe. So overall, it was. I was very excited for it, but if anything, that game took forever. But like, I think what Square did right with that game, I don't know who. Develop the
Last Guardian.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's all Japanese companies. It's specifically the Last Guardian company. Okay.
Right. Well, I'm saying because the way that they
we were just letting a few bad apples spoil the bunch, which in retrospect that actually does occur because
we don't think we don't think that way.
But that metaphor doesn't apply to people; it applies to vegetables.
But yeah, I don't know. This was Final Fantasy 15. They kind of revamped it, obviously, so it wasn't like a Last Guardians type situation. But going back to really quick with the PlayStation 4 ending its life cycle. Do you think it's too soon to even just bring on a PlayStation 5 within 2021, or do you think that the PS
2021? I feel like it would be a good time period because it's been, you've had PlayStation, you've Sony and PlayStation and Microsoft saturating the market for the last like
Sony and PlayStation and Microsoft.
yeah, it would have been the last Sony and PlayStation. It would have been for the last 8 years, sort of. But the problem is the difference between this cycle and last cycle was last cycle had maybe about like I want to say at least 3 times the amount of games by this time, maybe even 5 times the amount of games that have been released during last generation at like within, let's see, what is it, we're in year like 5 right now, within the 5th year
The
of
year
last
3000.
gen.
Sorry, I just had to make a Jonas Brothers reference there.
Within the last 5 years, the video games released for these current consoles is not high whatsoever.
Remember when games used to go gold? Have you ever heard that term before?
What do you mean go gold? You
So
mean like
gold means that the game has been finished before its expected its expected date before it releases out to the public. Because I remember that there, like during the very beginning with PlayStation 4 and even with Xbox One, there was a lot of games that went gold. Like Gears 5 was one of them. I believe Killzone Shadowfall, when it first came out, was one of them as well. And they're like, oh, like the game's gone gold. And everyone's like, what's that? It's like, oh, it means that the game is finished production. It's essentially ready to be shipped up to the public. But obviously, they still keep that that firm date intact. But yeah, so I just wanted to segue that for a second. But yeah, for the PlayStation 5, I hope that Sony learns from its mistakes, because we've seen in the past 2 E3s, it was pretty much the same thing. You know, like 2 years ago, they showed like, oh, a Spider-Man game's coming to PlayStation. Like, all right, Spider-Man game, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And then they're like, oh, God of War. Like, oh my God, where's the God of War? And then like Death Stranding, still don't know what that game is, by the way. I've done a little bit of research on it, but I'm glad that Hideo Kojima is still able to create his own games, because I know that Konami kind of did him dirty there for a little bit, to the point where he wasn't even allowed to participate or attend the video game awards. I think it was last year, because of some legal battle between him and Konami as a whole, and the whole not Splinter Cell, my gosh, Metal Gear. Sorry about that, PlayStation fans. But I don't know. I feel like if they were, well, let's say it's the year 2020 right now. Like, I want Sony to like learn from its mistakes and kind of like instead of just showing these games like, oh, we have a trailer for a game. It's not coming out for a few years, but like it'll be out either this year or next year by the latest. Because it happened with Spider-Man. Because last year we saw more Spider-Man demos, you know, like gameplay in general, same thing with God of War, but it didn't come out until this year, and they showed it for the past 2 E3s. I don't know. What do you think in general?
Well, no, that's the future, but we should be getting into what's actually going to be at E3. This E3.
Right? Yeah. We're
right. Talking about like years in the future right now. We need to focus on what's.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just wanted to.
So at this E3, so
there are a lot of games.
There's a lot of games coming out. We have.
Oh my God!
God, I'm dying.
Jared, are you okay?
We have Death Stranding, Spider-Man PS4, we have Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Days Gone, The Last of Us Part 2.
3 minutes to midnight.
3 minutes to midnight. Yeah, and we have Anthem that's coming out for everything. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, just supposed to be shown at Sony's thing, which to me doesn't make sense, because as you know, if you guys have been frequenting this channel, I'm a big Assassin's Creed fanboy, and I don't understand that, because the team themselves has said that the Xbox is better hardware to showcase the game on. So I don't know, maybe they were just feeling bad for Sony from last E3 because they showed shit on the Xbox. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna show on PS4 now. I don't know. But or it could just mean they're just gonna show some gameplay there. Like I have no idea. Then we have Battlefield 5, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Defiance 2050. It looks like we pulled the list off of GameSpot's their website of all the games that are confirmed that's supposed to be at Sony's E3.
The Division 2.
Fallout 76.
Nobody asked for this. Fallout 76.
No, okay, no. What you're talking about? Yeah, Division 2. Yeah, one of our broke boys said he has very strong feelings about about Division
Yes.
overall. My word, he whew. But yeah, shout out to Tomb Raider, Ghost
Strength
of
Brigade, Transference,
Ferns Valley, Rally
V,
4, that's not, and
is it V
Warhammer,
Rally?
a Martyr,
Warhammer Martyr. Okay.
Murder, Murder.
Okay. Maybe Matt will wind up dying for
Yeah,
his Vermintide. I don't
but
know.
possibly. But I've also heard that Sony's supposed to bring the big four, they call it. So apparently, four big exclusive titles. I'm assuming because enter Sony exclusive title here, there. That's literally all they have. I mean, yeah, they have third party, but they like to show off their quote unquote first party games, which technically I think is more of a second party.
What is From Software making?
Yeah, from Software. From what we saw, was that
What do they
last
make
year?
again?
I think that was
quite
at
remember. What are they known for again?
what From Software does the Dark Souls and Demon Souls.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really don't know. It's been very interesting with they showed. I think it was
You might
either
have a second Bloodborne.
I'm thinking Bloodborne or maybe just a new title from Software altogether.
Maybe.
Oh, bless you, Jared. I'm kidding.
Hopefully they show off some vampire gameplay at this.
That would be pretty fun. I don't know. Yeah, it's yeah, they're big four. I really don't know what it is. I mean, maybe I'm assuming probably Last of Us Part 2, Spider-Man, Days Gone, and Final Fantasy. Maybe. I don't know. It could be something completely different as well. We're just speculating here. So Jared, you being a PlayStation 4 owner, is there any games that you would like to see, bring out to the spotlight overall? Like, just anything in general. Like, what would you think Sony would release this year?
Well, they have announced that they're making a Horizon Zero Dawn sequel.
Ooh.
They are working on that. I don't
game
know
looks really fun to play.
I don't know if it's going to be shown or not.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Probably not. I hope not, because that would be way too soon.
When did that game come out? Like 2 years ago? 2 years ago? A year ago? Maybe? I don't know. Don't quote me on this, people. I don't have a PlayStation. I just like to.
February of 2017.
Okay. So yeah, it's been a little bit over a year. Well, almost coming up a year and a half. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. I've heard just a lot of different things. I even heard that Sony may not even have like a traditional press conference. They might take the Nintendo Direct route. But that's still up in the air. A lot of speculation coming from that angle. And also, there's just wanted to talk about. I've looked up. There's a new PlayStation 4 Elite controller. I'll have a title of it.
Looks like adults are finally going to be able to play the PlayStation.
Right.
Their hands are big, and it's like a very small controller.
It's from like $170 to $200, and I was like, whoa! And then I remember
that's expensive for a controller.
But like at the same time, I bought the Xbox One Elite controller, but I think that was around.
Why'd you buy the Elite controller?
It was a birthday gift. So like, I'm sorry. It was. It just was. I don't know. I wanted it. It definitely made a difference. I think that thing was like $150 when it first came out. I don't know if that's the initial price right now. We'll double check for that. Double check for you guys on that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird overall. So yeah, going back to the Bloodborne 2, I know that was Bloodborne 1 was a very successful PlayStation game. Overall, do you think that the second one would be multi-plat, even if it's just Xbox?
Would be multi-plat? Probably not. Yeah. The first one was a multi-plat.
True. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a great game. Honestly, it appealed to me more than Dark Souls. I don't know why. Maybe just because of the lore, the story behind it and whatnot. And apparently, there's also supposed to be a remaster of a classic PlayStation game that will be announced. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but I know last year at not last year, a few years ago, E3 they released a teaser trailer for Final Fantasy remake was
Mhm.
underway, and then 2016 E3 Crash Bandicoot remastered trailer, and then PSX 2016 they did Parappa the Rappa, Loco Roco, Papaton, and Wipeout all had remasters announced, and then there was also the medieval remaster at PSX 2017 last year, which is a classic PlayStation series, and then we all know the beloved Shadow of Colossus. That was a remake of a remaster because it came out on PlayStation 2. I remember them remastering it for PlayStation 3, and then I believe this is the remake for the PS4. It's a lot.
Mhm.
I honestly don't know. I mean, Sony's always been very
Let's just hope
unpredictable.
it's Bugs Bunny lost on time.
Oh, dude, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. I don't know. Like, I feel like there's a few games I would like to see a return. Maybe if they did like a new, oh my gosh, what was it? It was a racing game. It was Metal. I'm blanking on it. It was pretty much like Mario Kart, but like with demon clowns and whatnot. Anyway, yeah. So Sony this year, we don't have too much to talk about it. Like I said, just because we have we the only one of us has a PlayStation is Jared. I
Yeah,
mean,
and even then, I don't have PSN. I don't
mm,
pay for that. I
shameful,
don't.
Jared. I don't
Dude,
know.
that's extra. I'm already paying for Xbox Live and like
That's
all this
true.
other
You're
shit.
still paying for Xbox Live,
I'm
really?
still paying for Xbox Live because you get
Mm,
some benefits.
that's true. That's
You get
true.
some free games.
I don't know. Well, I guess I wanted to just dive into the PlayStation 5 just for a second because
Hmm.
we've all known that consoles are notorious for using older hardware, and I've always just like I feel like Sony's always been when it comes to exclusives, they've always, for the most part, pretty much, minus PS3 era was iffy there for a little bit, but they've been pretty good about bringing first party, quote unquote, first party exclusives to their lineup, and I feel like they need to start being more consumer friendly, especially when it comes to like crossplay and backwards compatibility overall. Especially backwards compatibility. It's just you spend all this extra money on these games, and then when the PS3 came out, it could play PS3 games, PS2, and PlayStation 1 games as well. And then they revamped it for the slim versions, can only play PlayStation 1 games, but not PlayStation 2 games, which was very odd to me, and I don't know why they did that. I don't feel like that's very like pro consumer because I mean people spend a lot of money. Oops, sorry, a lot of money on these games, so it's like
Yeah,
why
it's
not?
weird to not make things backwards
And
compatible.
yeah,
It's true.
and that PlayStation Now thing doesn't really cut it to me because it's streaming number one, and you have to rebuy all of your old games that you used to have when you can just pop in a disc. Or if you want to be able to buy it, let's just have it how Xbox has it. Have the option to buy it digitally for like $20, or pop in your old game, boom, emulation. But I don't know. I feel like Sony's made up a lot of excuses for that cross play and for the EA access thing, but I don't know what are your thoughts on it.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's really no reason not to do it. Like saying that you don't have the hardware to do it, it's just completely not true. Because if Xbox is able to do it using a Blu-ray player system, and they're able to play old discs that are not Blu-ray discs, then PlayStation could easily do it. Considering Xbox bought it from PlayStation, so
Yeah.
I don't really know what their excuse is for not making it, but it's just it makes no sense. It's either like it just what an
Yeah.
excuse is an excuse is an excuse. It's like after a while, like an excuse is reasonable of like for some things, but like
Yeah, depending
sometimes
on the yeah.
sometimes the reasoning is just simply not true. Like look, dude, like here, it's like it's like when you go to class, right? Okay, so you go to class, blah blah. You say you're sick. Okay, that's reasonable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or but look, what's not reasonable is, oh yeah, sorry, teach, I can't. I wasn't in class on Tuesday because I was off to Mars. Visiting my grandpa. No, you
You
weren't.
said Mars?
Yes, Mars. It's like,
Ooh,
yeah,
I want to go to
I was
Mars.
out, I was out of the planet, visiting my grandfather on Mars. Yeah, yeah, he owns a coffee shop up there. It's like, no, no, he doesn't.
I might take over the
That doesn't.
business after graduation.
That's not a thing, and that's what Sony's doing. They're
Yeah,
telling us the grandpa's owns a coffee shop on Mars, dude.
right.
That's what they're telling us. It's like there's no. That's just no. It's not true.
Exactly. And
Like,
also, just to let you guys know really quick, Sony's their press conference is going to be Monday, June 11th, 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern time. So I just wanted to throw that out there really quick. Yeah, but I mean, I totally agree with you, man. It's just, I don't know. I can't say Sony's never really been my favorite.
and then even then, dude, like if they're like, oh no, well, we're not gonna make it backwards compatible because nobody's buying the old games anymore. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, but like if you do make it backwards compatible, you'll open up your market to even more individuals who,
Right. At least the option is there for the
yeah,
consumer
like,
to take it within that practice
right,
if
like
they
even
want
then,
to.
it's another selling point, and then it's
Oh, we
just
have a new
stupid.
visitor.
It's
Hello,
like yeah.
Devin.
Hello, Devin.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to the PlayStation podcast. Bye.
What? Devin?
What do you say?
He said bye and he left. Devin isn't the biggest Sony fan in the world. We're sorry about that, folks. But I mean, I can't say that Sony's my favorite either. Like they're a good
Yeah.
company. It's just that I don't know. I guess Sony just doesn't really do it for me anymore. It doesn't. They don't really excite me the way that excite me the way that they used to, like the way that Microsoft still does, regardless of their exclusive shenanigan fiasco going on. We're talking about that in a later podcast. So between that and I don't know. It's just I mean Sony's just kind of there for me. Like I've had more like interest in Nintendo and Microsoft overall. I mean we all play PC games over here on our for the most part actually. But yeah, I mean, like all power to Sony. Like I'm glad that they're taking those leaps and bounds to give their player base a firsthand experience, with these games. But I remember when Andrew House said a few years ago at E3, I think it was either last year or the year before, and he's like, yeah, we just don't want our player base playing on PC. And I was like, okay, that's a little anti-consumer because technically you could do both if you had the money, if you had the time, the finances to fuel your gaming needs, your
Right. If they
But
could launch like how EA has Origin.
right,
Oh, Sony could launch another thing that's like for gaming, playing their games on the PC.
right, and like
Like
I just
that's
feel like if they
simple as
did, they
that.
would make a lot more. Because I mean, let's say I think God of War made around 6 million since it's been out, and that is a large number for the PlayStation community. It's great, they're thriving, they're succeeding, but put those sales numbers up to like I don't know Assassin's Creed Origins, it's no contest whatsoever. It's insane. And
Yeah, if you put an exclusive sale versus a game that's available on everything,
right,
games that are available on everything, regardless, like even if it has average popularity, it usually outsells even the most
exactly, because more people have
successful.
access to it.
It'll outsell even the most successful exclusive, which is like, I
Oh,
mean,
for sure, for sure.
it's just numbers, and people aren't understanding numbers.
Yeah, and
That's
that's I don't know. I mean, like they have their little contracts, but like I said, I feel like even with like Naughty Dog or I can't really say with Insomniac anymore because they've made games on both spectrums, and I know they do a little bit of work within the VR field as well. But let's say let's just use Naughty Dog as an example, or Guerrilla Games, I guess, because technically, to me, a first party game is the company itself publishing and developing within the game itself. So just take Mario, Nintendo, all that jazz. So Nintendo, created Mario. They create their own first party exclusive games. you know, I mean, they have the Pokemon company, but that is Nintendo. You know what I mean? So like,
Hmm.
I feel like that's okay. You know, they can actually call those first party games. But even with like Microsoft and Sony, obviously, it's just I don't know, man. Like I feel like it's more of a second party because yes, they quote unquote own those developers that create these games, but they're just the ones publishing it. You know,
Right.
Sony's is publishing it, Microsoft's is publishing it. Unless it's made by Microsoft Studios working with another company, I would consider that a first party ish 50-50. But it's just I don't know. I feel like it's more of a second party because with Naughty Dog, it's a contract, and if they break that contract, then they run the risk of their whole entire just everything coming down, their entire operation in general. So that's why I kind of fear for these developers that are under Sony. I mean, I'm sure they treat them with utmost respect, but it's just we've seen it time and time again with EA. EA's shutting down Visceral Games and many other developers that if they don't perform up to their expectations, then they're gone. So that kind of sucks. But I mean, yeah, like I said, I'm just not the biggest Sony fan. Like I'll advocate for them. If someone's looking, between PlayStation and Xbox, like Sony's got all these great games. This is what they offer. This is what Xbox offers. The boxes are essentially the freaking same, not counting the Xbox One X. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just not. Sony's just not my cup of tea anymore. It just really isn't. Unfortunately, yeah. But that's all I pretty much had to say about this topic. I know this is going to be a fairly shorter discussion. We have a lot more things to discuss between our next video, which is going to be Microsoft's pre-discussion. We're going to do probably a huge discussion about that because we're very, very. I won't say pro Microsoft, but we've come off of the Xbox and.
I mean, I'm not very so in my opinion. I'm at odds with a bunch of you guys in terms of like Microsoft exclusives. I don't believe that they're as good as PlayStation exclusives.
Oh, I don't. I don't either.
Excluding Halo, I believe Halo is one of the greatest games. One of the greatest games, not the greatest game.
Right.
It's just I think it's one of the greatest games, not of all time. I just understand that it was very influential for what it is.
Right.
Halo is a very important game.
Right. And I
in my
totally
opinion,
agree
though,
with
like
you.
I'm not like a Halo fanboy whatsoever. I've only beaten like Halo 1 and Halo like parts of it. Like I've only beaten the first Halo. Okay, I've played all the Halos, never beaten any of them. I'm not really that vested in the story. I don't think the story's too good. I think the gameplay is okay, but for what Halo is, I understand its impact and that it's actually an important game.
Right.
But in terms of how good it is, I don't really think it's the best. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's the best. Now, I don't like Gears of War. I think Gears of War is trash. I don't like it. And then the other Microsoft exclusives like Fable, I like Fable a lot. But I mean,
I love
I'm not like
Fable.
yeah, I'm not like a Microsoft fan.
No, that's totally fine. I mean, I definitely I agree with you when it comes to like right now with their exclusives. Obviously, Sony has the upper hand, but what really drives me with Microsoft, it's not necessarily Halo, Gears, Fable, or Forza, or any of their other first party. It's the fact that they have pretty much adapted to their situation. No, they don't have a lot of exclusive games right now, but that's not why I like Microsoft as a company. I like Microsoft as a company because versus over Sony, they're 10,000 times way more pro-consumer. The fact that they're still, I guess you could say, in this race or still within this industry in general is because of how pro-consumer that they are, and that's what I really like about them. I mean, they give people Xbox Game Pass, which is, we all know it's essentially games like Netflix, but for games in general, for $10 a month. and you get access to a pretty big library of their games. And not only that, you get day one access to all of their exclusives that come out, within the future. Then you have Xbox Play Anywhere, which I think is great, catering to the PC and the Xbox community collectively, because for years and years and years, Microsoft's always said, oh, we're going to cater to our PC audience. We're going to cater to them. We're going to give them what they want, what they deserve. And Sony clearly doesn't really do any of that, because I can't say that they're as friendly on PC. And then, with Xbox Play Anywhere, you buy the digital game either on your PC and your Xbox, and you can do cross saves between both, which I think is really amazing. Not only that, there's also cross play. So my friends that are still on Xbox, I can still play with them if I so choose to do so. And then you have backwards compatibility, which is it's freaking huge. It's fucking amazing. Not only with Xbox 360 games, but with the original Xbox games now as well. Like they're very pro-consumer. They are adapting to their situation and trying to keep their gamers happy. And I think they've been doing a really good job about that. But that's why I like Microsoft a lot more. But that's just a little sneak peek for our next video. Jared, did you have anything else left to say about this? I think we're just gonna wrap this one up.
No, I think we're
all right, we're good. And thank you guys all for tuning in. Just leave a like and a comment in the section down below and tell us why you think that why Sony, like, is Sony your favorite company overall? What do you game on? PlayStation? What are your favorite exclusive games overall? Just leave all that down in the comment section down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe if you want to see more content, and we will see you guys in part 3, which is going to be Microsoft. So say goodbye, Jared.
Goodbye, Jared.